Hey guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So what I'm doing here today is a bit of a review. And I say a bit of a review because this is a brand new deck that I just got last week. However, oh my goodness gracious, it is friggin' excellent. So I have been doing some past life work on myself. I have done them in the past, but I was really holding off until I got this particular tarot deck. I had seen some stuff on Jennifer Pearson's channel with all the different spreads and stuff. And, you know, I'm really good friends with Maria of Lady Night of Avalon channel, and she has been telling me about this particular deck and the workbook for quite some time, and she got so deep with information because this particular deck, as long as you're getting like the workbook, which I highly recommend, and I will be putting links down below to this particular whole kit, which is how I purchased it. This was actually one of my Christmas presents. But there's different, like several different days worth of spreads in here. However, they're not supposed to be, like, to my understanding, all different spreads, you know, just on different lives. You do your initial on your first, on whatever life that you're working on, and then you go through the whole gamut of these particular spreads, and it gives you so much information about one life. And then when you've gone through that, then you do another, because if you believe like I do that we have had hundreds, maybe thousands of lives, okay, since a long time ago. That's why, but I want to focus on one life at a time and dig as deep and get as much information that I can out of each particular life before I move on to another one. And this particular workbook and all the spreads and this deck really helps with that. So I really wanted to do a review of this thus far. And so here is the book that you get. And it's not a large book. It's just perfect. So let me give you a for instance. If I were to, well, let's draw a card. And these are not in order because I have been using them like crazy. All right, so this is the card that we got. Now, depending on what spread that we use it in, there are different charts. But I just want to give you an overview. This particular, I should be saying this also, the person that created this is, where is it? Let me just read the introduction a little bit. She says, I have been reading tarot. Oh, this is by Melanie Eva Henson. And it is from Red Orchid Publishing. As I said, I will be putting a link down below. She says, I have been reading tarot professionally for 5 years and own an established business as a spiritual consultant. As well as developing a thorough understanding of the cards, I am also a medium. I am the type of reader who invites spirit to play a significant role in the tarot reading process. What you hold in your hands is the deck that I wished existed, a tarot deck especially designed for reading past lives. So she had made this. As I said, read past lives for my clients, the tarot often revealed interesting information that pertained to the Quarren's current life, phobias, fears, blockages, painful relationships, etc. Tarot was especially revealing and helpful for healing current life problems as read through the past life lens. However, I often had to abruptly leave the tarot and rely solely on mediumship to orient the past life in place and time. typically when reading for clients, I either use tarot for life questions or mediumship to connect to deceased loved ones. The switch mind reading was jarring and especially challenging. So she thought, what if, I asked myself, we designed certain cards for countries and periods of time? So essentially that's what she did. She made a deck specifically for the whole process of past life, remembering your past lives. So let's find this card really quick. This is the Hanged Man. This is premature death. Joan of Arc's death at the stake is what this, let me show you. So let me tell you what it says out of the book, just for a quick reference, just so you can see it. So the root energy of that card is suspension and a long wait. In a past life, this is the card for unfinished business. A goal you have in a previous life remained unmet when an untimely death interrupted your work. Part of your mission in this life is to complete the goal that you had set for yourself. When you reach this goal, your joy will be full and climactic because the wait and hard work spans lifetimes. An alternative interpretation is you could have a spiritual block right now that is making it seem near impossible for you to move forward. This blockage is not limited to this life, but is rooted in a past life and fears carried from that life. If you have been recently asking yourself, what is wrong with me? This is probably the correct interpretation for this card. The place of this particular artwork, because she took, I believe that she had scoured like tons and tons of like public domain art in order to pull the perfect deck together. And the place was Berlin, Germany, and the time is the 19th century. So there's different spreads that those times would relate to also. And she says that you can also get information from the information about the art. And this one said, Hermann Anton Strike, creator of Joan of Arc's Death at the Stake from 1843, was a German painter who studied at the Berlin Academy. His wife, I can't even pronounce the name, was also a talented watercolor painter. This art is part of a 3-image triptych about Joan of Arc's life, currently on display at the Hermitage State Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia. So there could be information about that as well, pertaining the actual artist information that could pertain to it as well. So the different spreads that are in here, there is like your assessment, pre-assessment, where you draw 2 cards and you ask the question, who was I? That brings up information. She tells you, or she gives you exercises like what kind of visual feelings did you get from that, spiritual feelings, all kinds of questions. It's so in detail. Now, I'm not actually writing in mine. I actually have been writing the information because I initially did the spread out of this first. I just opened it up that day and I'm like, because I couldn't wait. I had been waiting for this for a while. So, and I don't mean waiting from her after I'd ordered it. I just meant I had not ordered it. I had wanted it for a long time. So I did this spread initially. And wow, I could not believe the information that I got from it. It was so revealing to me on so many levels. It's crazy. So I started writing, in my just regular notebook. And then I started with the actual pre-assessment with the workbooks. And I think I've done like 3 or 4 of the different spreads and how it actually, it like inspires you to dig deeper, and it gives you the ability to dig deeper. And there's 2 spreads. This was a conversation that I had with Maria. And we were talking about whether or not when we come into a certain, or when we come into existence, or what have you, when our souls are born, whether or not we have certain spiritual essences or qualities that we have. And she talks about that right out of the gate, actually, about different spiritual qualities that we have and how that affects us in our past lives and how it's affecting us in this current life. And being able to see that, it just totally resonated with me. And it's nice also having somebody that I'm doing this with, kind of, because she's kind of already done it, but it's an ongoing process because you do like all of these spreads for one life. It gets you so deep into it. I mean, it inspires a whole bunch of research and realization, and I mean, I cannot say enough about it. And then, you go on to another one with more information. But I did end up buying a smaller journal that I'm going to transfer what I've done so far, and I'm going to leave it all in this. But, I mean, there are so many different spreads in here. Relationship spread, romantic, family, friend, relationship spread, general karmic spread, relationship spread, spiritual blockages spreads, another one on spiritual blockages, different types, another spread, narrative spreads, another narrative. I mean, keep in mind, these are all for one life. So you do all these different spreads and go so deep into each different area of your life, whether it was your career, your life path, your family, your romance, your children, you name it. It goes really deep. So I'm just going to show you the cards really quick. These are not in order because I have been using them. It came with the bag too. It had a little red orchid thing, but I ripped that off because it was like halfway. It was just like glued. I'm not worried about the bag because I plan on getting a really nice either like satchel or something for this because I just love it so much. So let me see if I can bring this closer down. All right. And as I said, whoops, these are not in order because I have been using them and I don't feel like putting them all in order. So, but it doesn't really work that way anyways. They don't really need to be in order. So you can see different times or different places. I just cannot say enough about this deck already. I am so in love already. I feel like I've already learned so much and I've only done like 3 or 4 spreads. I think 4 spreads total on the one life. The artwork is beautiful and it inspires like, and it's diverse, so it inspires like other, my imagination or my mind's eye to really dig deeper as well. Once I get through all these, I will probably be offering actually people past life through these like packages because it's like really in depth and it's something that you want to do with somebody you know, if at all possible, like a one-on-one kind of thing, because there's so much information that is actually revealed in this system. This kind of stuff is right up my alley, too. I mean, I honestly feel like what she said in the very beginning, that if you want to find out and you don't understand why maybe you have a phobia of this or that, or you have certain kinds of dreams that have come back to you so many times, there's probably a reason for it. And getting to the bottom of it can actually help release some of those things. Isn't that what even shadow work is about, and self-awareness? I think so. Even understanding parts of like our personality, why we act the way that we do. Why we might even have certain addictions or phobias or what have you, can also be found or rooted in a past life and something that you have to work on in this life. I feel like it's just another piece of that puzzle. And then you start adding that with some astrology or numerology, because I really believe that we make blueprints for our lives. So I think it all kind of interconnects with each other. I would love to know whether or not you guys, any of you that are watching, are you doing past life work? Have you thought about doing past life work? Have you had past life regression? Have you tried a regression and it doesn't work? I had a close friend try, who's got that kind of knowledge, tried doing one on me. And I think the more that I even open myself up in this manner, I might be more able to do that. But I think I have control issues. So it's easier for me to do it this way first. Although I am right now currently taking a class that I actually paid for a couple of years ago, and I'm finally taking it, on learning how to do past life regressions for people. So maybe even learning that will help me to, you know, lose a little bit of that control, so that I can maybe trust myself enough or trust somebody else enough to kind of help put me into that state so that I can experience a regression. Because I really do want to. It's just, you know. Yeah. I definitely have a emotional response to this dude. But that's also because, you know, I've always been interested in Henry VIII and the story of him and his wives and his children and all that. So as I said, guys, I will put a link down below to where you can get this. And I would love to hear your guys' comments, whether or not you have done any kind of past life work. Do you remember any of your past life information? Have you done a regression? Did it work for you? Does it spur you on? Does it make you want to dig deeper? Do you have this particular tarot deck? And how has it worked for you thus far? And I hope you have enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment down below, and I am sending you love and light. Thank you so much.